Imagine involved in a big mess just because you couldn't control yourself. This is exactly what is happening to Trump as he's being charged for multiple offenses. Worse of it all, he might not reach the ballot. Without wasting time, let's get right into this. When spoken aloud, those two phrases have the power to evoke feelings comparable to the worst insults, curses, or invectives you can imagine. Under the right circumstances, the man himself is capable of experiencing such emotional eruptions. He's trapped in a Manhattan courtroom this week, accused of 10 charges of breaching a gag order because he can't control himself and his letters to his supporters. He makes cryptic threats like the bloodbath is 24 hours away, they can't keep me off stage, and Trump Tower is mine. And even more absurd assertions that he would be arrested in a matter of hours. Trump won't be on the ballot in November, as shown by this week's court proceedings. In my opinion, all of it is intended to infuriate his supporters, and by throwing careless jabs at them, he seeks to persuade the devoted supporters who aren't turning out in large enough numbers to protest in Manhattan. Additionally, it's a reflection of his mounting anxiety that he's finally being made to answer for his deeds. In the midst of all of this, President Joe Biden signed into law the most recent deal, which he had assisted in negotiating past radical Republicans in Congress, and declared that the United States had sent, which he had earlier denied sending. In addition to compelling China to remove TikTok from its market, Biden's foreign assistance package is a substantial policy victory that follows this week's significant union backing, an effort to demonstrate that he merits a second term. Biden has mostly avoided discussing Trump in favor of focusing on finishing his work. However, last week, he reminded everyone that Trump is a toxic threat to planet Earth. All Trump can say in return is that Biden is going crazy. When Trump stumbles, Biden seems to be up to the task. The president sparred jokingly with reporters this week. "What will your legacy be to be reporting?" Biden remarked, revealing a cheek when asked what his legacy on abortion will be. Yes. Trump claims that Sleepy Joe, the genius addicted to cocaine, is nevertheless capable of holding his own against a reporting pool that resembles middle school children at a pep rally. The Supreme Court is prepared to decide whether or not to grant Trump kingly authority and remove themselves from office when they take up Trump's claim of absolute immunity today. Nobody thinks the Supreme MAGAs on the court are planning to do more than postpone the ultimate ruling against Trump and give himself some more time to ride back into power and impose his own brand of dystopia and dyspepsia on the nation. Without a doubt, Trump lacks a well-thought-out policy. Trump is used by those who have agendas and feed him what he wants to hear in order to keep him under control. Those who revere him find great value in his words. It's all illogical. To the cost of the rest of us, those in charge of Trump are the ones who stand to gain from this chaotic mess. However, an amusing incident occurred en route to Trump's coronation. Pecker is tearing away Donald Trump's thin veneer of competence in Manhattan, where the businessman is facing over 30 charges in addition to his more obvious mental deterioration. His decline is a result of mockery, sadness, and dementia. This week, Dr. John Gartner, an assistant professor at Johns Hopkins University Medical School, reminded us that we are seeing the best Donald Trump to date in an interview with Chip Franklin's podcast, Really Political. Put another way, regardless of how awful something becomes, he will never be as good as he was the day before. According to Dr. Gartner, Trump's mental health has taken a sharp turn for the worst, and he will never fully recover. The former president's mental capacity is deteriorating daily, and eventually, the pace of acceleration of this deterioration will push Trump over the edge of insanity. When he tumbles off, be careful. Dr. Gartner likened the possibility of Trump winning a second term to spending a weekend at Bernie's. Actor Tom Arnold asked me on that episode to compare the conditions of Trump's first term to how awful a second term may be. I realized that a lot of Americans still do not realize how really dysfunctional Trump was and still is. The truth is that Trump's first presidency was very risky, and this was unrelated to his political views. I have never seen a White House like the Trump White House, and I doubt I ever will. It was incoherent, unpleasant, foolish, disorderly, and full of insinuation. The director of this Hollywood show, a self-loathing narcissist with illusions of competence, was a grade B person. It seems that nobody in the government even knew what U.S.